Welcome back to the Real with Joseph Lappin. I am Joseph Lappin. Hope you guys having a great Wednesday afternoon. Welcome into the Real. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and share on the way in here. I really appreciate that. Shout out to all new subscribers. We got some new subscribers this week who have been commenting the shows and all that. So we appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys' interaction and feedback. And for subscribing to the show. Obviously, without you guys, there is no The Real. Without your subscription, which is completely free. Just hit the tap of the button and hit subscribe and liking the video as well, which promotes this video more in the algorithms. And also, if you wouldn't mind hyping the video now, it's a new feature. You just hit the hype button down there, and it'll hype the video up, which also promotes it more in the algorithms as well. So shout out to all you guys. But yeah, today's show is a show that I knew was going to happen. I knew this topic was going to happen this week. If you've been listening to this show for a while now, at least recently, I've covered a lot about the Cavs. What's LeBron going to do? I told you what's going to happen to Lakers land. And here we are. We're a week out from July 1st. Free agency starts next Tuesday, June 30th, when the tampering period begins. And the NBA draft was last night. Now, last night, the Cavs, I'll recap that real quick. The Cavs last night obviously traded out of the first round. Darren Peterson, who I talked about yesterday, went number 2, 3-3-0 kid. Shout out, then went to the Utah Jazz. Where's my button? Shout out to Darren. I think that was a great spot for him. I think that was a better spot. I know he wanted to go number 1, but I think that was a better spot for him than the Washington Wizards. I think he'll have a great career out there in Utah. How long he's there, I don't know. Maybe he's there his whole career. Obviously, we don't know. But I think it's a good spot for him. Playing with my guy Humble's favorite player, Laurie Marketing. So he'll be just fine. But, shout out to Darren. But also, the Cavs last night, they traded back. I'm not surprised they traded back. They had to trade back for financial reasons. You don't want to take on a first-round contract. Obviously, you want to get in the second round. Now they have more flexibility with their cap. And they still get the player I think they're going to try to target. The name I think they're going to – 2 names I think to keep an eye out for tonight because they're the 4th pick in the second round. The kid out of Northwestern, I know people are talking about today. He was the leading scorer this year. I think Martinelli is his name. I watched his highlights this morning. I like him a lot. He was the leading scorer in the Big Ten. Really good player, 6'8" wing, could shoot, do a little bit of everything. I think the other guy you're going to see, what's his name? From North Carolina, the big man, the 7-footer. I think he's definitely a guy. If I'm the Cat, that's who I would target because – what is his name? You can put it in the chat right now if you guys are watching. But shout out to all you guys for tuning in. But you got the 7-footer from North Carolina, and then you got the guy from Northwestern, Martinelli, I believe is his name, who I think that the 2 names are going to target. But to me, the big guy, Vassar, Henry Vassar, that's the guy I would look for. 7-footer, 60% from the field this year, 42% from 3, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 1.2 blocks per game. He's a guy that I would look for, and I think they're going to need a 7-footer. And I'm going to get to that in a minute, why I think they even if they don't trade Jarrett Allen, which I'm going to get to in a minute. You guys know why we're here today. By the headline, the headline and the thumbnail. And I'm sure you guys have probably heard some of the rumors today, which I've been telling you for a while was going to happen. But even if they don't trade Jarrett Allen, I still think they should take another big man. They need another big in the front court. And I think this guy is great because he can space out the floor, stretch out the floor, shoot the 3, gives you defense, rebounding, and a little bit of everything you need. So this Henry Vassar is who I would target first. I like the kid from Northwestern second. I'm fine with that. And that's probably, I think they'll get one of those 2 guys for sure. So that's what I got on the Cavs in the draft. No surprise they traded out last night. I know people were upset because they stayed up and waited, but I had a feeling once they got on the clock, and you heard it all day, really, that they were going to trade. And plus, right now with the second apron, the cap stuff they got going on, they're actively trying to navigate that for a reason. So, not surprised by that. But also some other news today. I woke up this morning, and like you guys probably saw, I saw Chris Mannix, he's been an NBA reporter for a long time, but he also covers the Boston Celtics, and is obviously connected to that area. He was on NBC Boston, I believe over this morning or last night, And obviously, Jaylen Brown right now is the big name everybody's talking about. Will Jaylen Brown get traded? Right? Are they going to trade Jaylen Brown? Um, because they tried trading him for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and obviously the Bucks went with the Miami Heat deal. So now, are they going to trade Jaylen Brown? Or do they have to move on now? You tried trading him already. It's been reported for probably a while now that he's wanted to go on and do his own thing separate from Jason Tatum. It seems like it's the end of the road here in Boston. They're going to have to blow it up, and that Jaylen Brown is going to be the odd man out in Boston. Now, a lot of people though are wondering, where's he going to go? Because I haven't heard the Cavs really connected at all. I heard yesterday people saying, would they trade Evan Mobley? Would you do it? Would you trade Donovan Mitchell? I even heard yesterday, which I thought was insane. But um, Chris Mannix, though, brought up what he's heard around the league. And here's what he had to say about Evan Mobley and Jaylen Brown at a potential trade.
Jaylen Brown is truly available and what the asking price for him is going to be. But the Celtics, I believe, are listening to those calls and are, thinking up their own trade matches of their own. I spent some time this afternoon talking to different teams about what might the Celtics be interested in. And the name and the team that came back to me a lot was Evan Mobley and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Mobley's one of those guys that could fit the archetype of the type of player that the Celtics are looking for. Now, if it is a deal they're interested in, is a complicated deal to make because the Cleveland Cavaliers are a second apron team and they're a whole bunch of different rules that go with being a second apron team, including the need to match dollar for dollar value with the player that goes out. That's just mathematically impossible, it seems like, in this moment. But that's the name, Trenny, that people keep coming. Jaylen Brown is truly
So Chris Mannix brought up Evan Mobley in a potential trade, that the Celtics are interested in Evan Mobley. He didn't say the Cavs are interested in Jaylen Brown. He said the Celtics are interested in Evan Mobley. Well, to me, yeah, I'm sure they are, duh. Because you want to get a young guy. If you're going to trade Jaylen Brown, they need a front court. They need front court help. They need a big up front. So obviously Evan Mobley, he's young. He still has upside. He's showing a lot of flash. He's one defensive player of the year. That's a guy that obviously they would want. I mean, that's not a surprise to me. If we're going to trade a guy like Jaylen Brown and we still have Jason Tatum, yeah, I would want to go get Evan Mobley as well. But I don't think the Cavs are very interested in trading Evan Mobley at all. And I think, where do I have that? Right here. Not that one. Right here. An NBA exec right here today said that I don't think the Cavs have much interest in moving a younger guy for an older guy who makes more money. They need to get rid of payroll, and they'd hate to trade Mobley for that. And so I don't think the Cavs are going to trade Evan Mobley. I know a lot of people don't think they're going to trade Evan Mobley. I know it was also reported from Brian Windhorst that on ESPN Cleveland that he believes the Cavs have no interest in trading Mobley anytime soon. I'm sure they'll take a call to listen, but they're not interested in trading Evan Mobley. I don't think also this is a good trade for the Cavs if they were to even be interested in it. I don't think Jaylen Brown really fits what, he's a wing they need, but you had Donovan Mitchell and James Harden you have to bring back. I don't think it really fits. There's only one ball. And to be Donovan and Jaylen Brown, I don't think they can really play together. I don't think they could go coexist because they both need the ball. They do kind of the same things offensively. Jaylen's a better defender. He's taller. He's bigger. But, again, if you're talking about trading Donovan for Jaylen Brown, that's a different story, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't think Donovan's getting traded at all. I think Cleveland loves Donovan and he's going to be here and he wants to re-sign here. So you take that guy because you don't know if Jaylen Brown would be a guy who would re-sign here. So again, shout out to my guy Parent John. He said the most realistic thing is Braun coming back home. I'm gonna get to that more in a minute, Parent John, with the latest on that. But I think you might be onto something there, Parent John. I've been saying it for a while. I know you've been commenting about it for a while, but I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Appreciate you for tuning in, brother. And guys, please share this live right now because we're about to break down some news and get into it. So finishing up the Jaylen Brown side of things, though, I don't think it's a real thing. I think it was a hypothetical thrown out there. Again, he said he threw out. Basically, what he did is he threw out what the Celtics would like, and I think what the Celtics told, what he heard, what the Celtics are telling executives, what Chris Mannix heard is, this is the starting price we have for Jaylen Brown. We want an Evan Mobley type player. That's our starting price. So I think to me that was just a bad signal to the league, like, hey, this is what we're kind of looking for. But nobody thinks the Cavs are going to trade Evan Mobley, and the Cavs are not trading Evan Mobley. He's not going anywhere. Donovan's not going anywhere. And that's that. You might as well just forget all those trade scenarios because they're not trading Evan Mobley. So that ain't happening. It's just not happening. And here, one of the reasons why they're not going to trade Evan Mobley as well is because Donovan is expected to re-sign here. If he doesn't re-sign this summer, it's not a crisis. It's not a time to panic. He's going to re-sign for more money next summer. So it'll probably be like a verbal agreement, basically. Now, there is a chance, though, that, things could happen. Maybe if something somehow went south and Donovan doesn't want to be here, your best asset you have for the future moving forward is Evan Mobley. So, and again, the other day when the Giannis thing was going on and leading up to the Giannis thing, and people were wondering, should the Cavs sneak in and try to be, there was a reported mystery team, which we now know was Minnesota, but, people were wondering, was it the Cavs? Or, you go back a month ago, should the Cavs be interested in Giannis? The one thing that I kept hearing, and it was very consistent, was that the Cavs view themselves as a contender right now. Obviously, they have to get a lot better, though. Like Dan Gilbert said, they're nowhere near they need to be. They're in all win now mode. They want to win right now, but they are operating though as if they're going to be in, I don't want to say a rebuild in 2 to 3 years, right? But I think they don't want to be in a spot in 3 years where they're going to have to start all over and not have anybody to work with, because Evan Mobley by that time will be 26, 27 years old, right, and getting into his prime. And he would be your one of your foundational pieces. You're assuming Donovan's going to be here too. So you want to keep Mitchell and Mobley together as long as you can. So no matter what pieces you have moving around them, you still have those two guys. As long as you have those two guys, you can plug and play and build out your roster around them and have be in contention every year. So I think that's a lot of it too. And also, again, it's never a sure thing with Donovan. I would say 85% he's coming back and re-signing here. That may be low in some other people's eyes, but it seems very high right now. He'll be back. And if the other, let's say the 15% comes true and he doesn't, at least you still have Mobley though you can work with. You got to have something. You got to have some future. So that was a consistent thing with me. I've heard about Mobley and read even that they're not moving him. So they're very high on him. I like Mobley a lot. I think with some different tweaks to the roster and some change in philosophy, I think you'll get the more out of him offensively. He's a beast defensively. And so I think it's a smart move. I don't – Jaylen Brown, great player, hell of a player, but I don't know if he would re-sign here, A. And also, B, I don't think it's a good fit. So that's all I got on Jaylen Brown. Now, moving on to Jarrett Allen. I've been telling you guys for a while. We've been talking about LeBron, right? We've been talking about, will he come back? What's going to go on with him and the Lakers? Blah, blah, blah. And all that stuff, right? So let's start here. Let's start in LA, right? Let's rewind a little bit. All right, I've been telling you guys for a while now that the LeBron LA, whatever you want to call it, the tenure is coming to an end. That last year was it. Everybody around the league last year, and what the feeling is that they all knew that was it. The people in LA knew that was it last year. Mark Walters, the day he bought the team, he did not buy the team intending to keep LeBron James. He bought the team intending to buy Luka Doncic, basically, building around Luka. Okay. He does not want to build around LeBron. If you know Mark Walters' group, his ownership group, okay, they've had ownership with the Redskins, now Commanders, right? And I think they still do. And they also have ownership with the LA Dodgers. Whenever they had a guy, an aging star, on the last year of his deal, they always let him walk. And before the year, the rumor is he told them, let him play out his $53 million and let him walk. Okay. Bronny James is not guaranteed on a future deal with the Lakers, and the Lakers made no deal at the deadline. No deals at the deadline. They were bat signaling, we're transitioning. It's the LeBron James, or it's the Luka Doncic era. The LeBron era is over. And so I've been telling you guys, and we saw Luka Doncic's, last week ago, Mark Spears put out the thing about how, LeBron's likely to come back and they're going to get Kevin Love. And I told you guys, I said, if I had to bet, that came from he got that from somebody's camp, I believe, because, and I'm just speculating, respect to Mark Spears, been a reporter a long time, well respected, but Luka Doncic don't want to play with Kevin Love, bro. I don't think he wants to play with LeBron anymore, A. But also, B, He doesn't need a 37-year-old Kevin Love who can't play defense at all. I mean, you want to talk about no defense. I mean, they need defense in LA. Okay. And Kevin Love is old as a great guy, hell of a player when he was in his prime. Cavs legend, love Kevin Love. Respect to him what he did, off the court mental health, obviously, but he's just not the move for the Lakers. And I said, Luke, if I told Wally on that show that day last week, I said, Luka Doncic is probably pissed off, and I guarantee you'll see a response from Luka. Well, the next day you saw a response from Luka. David Medman of ESPN put out that article. You had all the quotes in there from Luka's people, his agent, and from people in his camp leaking out that, he's talked to LeBron and Austin Reeves, but hasn't pitched them on coming back. We saw the quote from him after the season kind of saying, it's been fun playing with both of those guys. And I said, that kind of sounds like a goodbye, that one of them's going to be gone. Right. And also he wants an A-list center and he wants shooters. And the Lakers promised Luka when he went to LA that this summer 26 will be the year we make it happen. We will build a team around you to be able to contend for a championship that following year. We will start building the pieces around you. Right. Last night they went out and got the dude Carson Carr, I believe his name is. He's a shooter, right? Fits in with LA. That's exactly what they need. One of the best shooters in the draft. So they got a shooter in the draft last night. Today, Austin Reeves, which not surprised at all, re-signed with the Lakers. 4 years, $185 million. All right. So Austin Reeves is coming back. He has a player option his final year of 29-30 season. He's coming back, right? He declined his 14.9 player option for the new max deal, 4 years, $185 million. So he's making almost, I think, $47 million next year. So now this doesn't really affect what the Lakers' availability in their cap was going to be already. But, I think, to me, this definitely signals that it's over. That LeBron ain't going back to the Lakers. Like I've been telling you guys. Okay, rumor has he already cleaned out his locker, him and Bronny, but you didn't hear that from me. But anyways, I think it's definitely over. Okay, they prioritize Austin Reeves over LeBron, and they spent all that money on Austin Reeves today. They had to put money elsewhere because, like it said after the Luka Doncic article, the Lakers are on the clock with Luka Doncic. Okay, they are on the clock. They don't have time to piss around and try to please LeBron anymore. It's over with. There's a new sheriff in town. His name's Mark Walters, and his biggest asset is Luka Doncic, and he can't lose him. Okay, so it's over for LeBron. It's over for LeBron and the Lakers. It's done. Today was the nail in the coffin. It's been done. He's not going back to LA. So Austin Reeves, shout out to him. Great story, obviously. Undrafted player who gets a payday like this and the kind of player he's turned into. Shout out. Yeah. LeBron ain't going back to the Lakers. It's over. So now what's next for LeBron? Right? What's next for LeBron? What's he going to do? Where's he going to go? And I've been telling you guys, the Golden State thing. Let's start with that, right? Because that's what everybody's talking about. All right, the Golden State thing. So there's a lot of people have reported for let's say a few weeks to a month that the Lakers were going to be the first option he wants to go back to, which I believe he did want to go back there, but they shut that door, and he's known it for a while. He knew this day was going to come. This didn't draw LeBron by surprise today. Just to let you know right now. All right, but the second option you've always heard is the Golden State Warriors. Right, you've heard people say that, LeBron has interest in Golden State. Golden State has interest in LeBron. And, as I'm getting a text right now, give me 1 second, my apologies. But Golden State has interest in LeBron, and he has interest in them. They want to play with Steph Curry. The Warriors can give him $15 million. I'm a mid-level exception. He can go golf and, be in Napa Valley, drink all the wine, blah, blah, blah. Wants to be in California, not too far from LA. And I heard that the Warriors thing is a real thing from people I trust that I read on, not only stuff I've read online from people I trust and here, but people I also listen to and ask for information from. They said, no, it's a real thing. So the Warriors thing is a real possibility. I'm not ruling it out. Okay. LeBron at this stage in his career, because he's 40-something years old, I don't know what he really wants. I think he's definitely made a shift, in my opinion, from compared to in the last few years, where he's a little more relaxed now. He's a little more. He seems like he's a lot more settled in his life. He's more, again, playing golf, going on podcasts. We never seen him go on. He's out traveling. He's definitely on the way out the door, right? He's got a family. His daughter's gonna be, she's getting into middle school now, I believe. His other son's in the NBA. His other son's in college. Like, he's definitely transitioning, right? So I could see that from the Warriors side of, he maybe want to go play with Steph, right? And just ride off in the sunset in the West Coast in LA. Because the only other team he can go back to in the West Coast that I think could realistically financially obtain it would be the Clippers. But the Clippers are not pairing him with Kawhi Leonard, and I don't think LeBron's going to the Clippers. LeBron would never go from the Lakers uniform to the Clippers uniform in that city. He just wouldn't do that. He ain't okay. LeBron's not doing that. It just wouldn't be good, and he knows better than that. He's not doing that. So the only other team that a lot of people think makes sense is the Warriors. All right, obviously connections with Draymond, Steph, the whole thing. Here's where I push back on the Warriors stand a little bit. Now, them bringing back Steve Kerr for 2 more years, that could be a signal that, hey, maybe they think they can get LeBron, and that's why Steve Kerr came back. Very possible. Wouldn't deny it. But I have a hard time believing LeBron, A, wants to play for $15 million. B, that's Steph Curry's franchise. Everywhere LeBron's been, he's always had leverage for the most part. Pat Riley gave him some in Miami, not a lot, but then, once it got towards the end, LeBron bounced and he went back to where he always has the ultimate leverage in Cleveland. When Jeannie Buss was in the LA, she catered to LeBron. And if Jeannie Buss was still the owner of the Lakers, they would have re-signed LeBron before last season. He would definitely be going back there. But she ain't there no more. And it's a new sheriff in town, Mark Walters, and he's not bringing back LeBron. So that leaves, again, Warriors as one option you've heard reported. And I heard that's a very real thing. All right. But I just have a hard time believing, like I said, I think he wants to go play for $15 million, but also to be Steph Curry's franchise. Like, Steph Curry, he took a backseat to KD, right? He made that happen. But KD also, his game is different than LeBron's. KD can play off the ball because he can spot up and shoot from anywhere. And KD was in his prime. It was just a bunch of different. I get it in some way, but to me, it's kind of apples to oranges. It's not the same. Kevin Durant had to go to Golden State because Kevin Durant didn't win a championship before he went there. He just lost to him 3-1, right? He had to go there to try to win because if he didn't win a championship, they would say, well, you never won one. So, I don't think, as we just got a trade, I think this is some draft deal. Yeah, never mind. I'm making sure. But, to me, LeBron going to Golden State, it's just a giant nursing home, like I've called it. Number one, Jimmy Butler's not coming back till at least February, coming off that injury. Steph played 40 games last year. Draymond is over the hill and a podcaster now. They have Kristaps Porzingis. Now they drafted the guy last night who I like from Michigan, and who can probably play right away because he's an older player, but he's 23 years old. They just drafted him out of the draft, 23. So you have him and you have Jimmy and you have the other guy, the young dude they got off the bench as your wings. There's reports now they have interest in trying to go get Trey Murphy. So I think the Warriors are trying to build a team to contend I don't say contend, but at least be more competitive next year because I don't think they can do them adding LeBron and Steph and Draymond that's not getting them over the hump in the West with OKC, Spurs, who got better last night in the draft. And all these other teams are going to get better. Jokic looks like he's getting in the best shape of his life right now. You got Houston's probably going to get better. Wouldn't be surprised if Jaylen Brown went there. Just saying. There's going to be a lot of other teams in the West that are going to get better. And so with the Warriors, even if you add LeBron, it's like that's not the availability is the best ability, and they're too old. They can't defend. They couldn't guard. They wouldn't be able to guard a chair. And Jimmy Butler's out for most of the season because he's coming back from that injury. So it's like, I don't get it. To me, if LeBron's going to go to Golden State, he should just go ahead and just retire. Because like my guy Humble says, that's just a part-time basketball player at that point. You want to be in California that bad, then bro, just retire. Because you ain't winning shit in Golden State. It ain't happening. That is a nursing home. They're just too old in basketball terms. That they're just too old. They are too old. They are not winning the West against that Spurs team, who's what, an average age of what, 20-something years old. They're not beating that team. Okay, it ain't happening. Who the hell's guarding Wemby on Golden State? And they don't got the legs to keep up with them. They just don't. The best thing for LeBron to do is to come back home. It's like in life, you travel the world, you go out, things run its course, and eventually, a lot of times, you find your way back home. And I think with LeBron, he needs to come back east, right? Where he's got an easier path, I believe, to the finals. You want to play the guy, you only want to play one West team in the championship. And I think LeBron will I think he likes his shots in a final situation, right? With the right team around him. He needs a younger scorer around him, Donovan Mitchell, right? He needs a young defensive anchor behind him, Evan Mobley. He needs shooters around him. The Cavs have shooters, right? And also, he's got to be able to be, I think what LeBron wants to be is he's got to be he wants to be the focal reason. He's the man, like, of the team, of the success, where he's the man there. He ain't the man in LA anymore. He wouldn't be the man in Golden State because that's always going to be Steph's franchise, and they wouldn't become a real contender anyways. So it'd be the geriatric show. So LeBron, though, in Cleveland, a team that just went to the conference finals, is bringing back Donovan, has Evan Mobley. They are bringing back James Harden. I know people aren't as high on, but if he's your fourth option, I don't think that's terrible. Maybe take some of the load off of James. You have shooters. You got some other things you can add to the team. You're going to maybe draft a 7-footer tonight, the kid from UNC. Right? You got some things you could do here. You can say, hey, I'm the final piece you need. This team's gotten closer and closer and closer slowly. Every year when they lost, though, they feel like they've needed something. They missed that leadership. They missed that guy, right? You look at the Cavs, they look like a team that needs the LeBron intangibles, the leadership, the experience, and the drive, pushing the other guys. We're going to the gym early. We're working out early. We're doing all, you know what I mean? Like cryotherapy. We're doing all this stuff, right? Everything's geared towards winning and success. And having that experience that they just lack. And so LeBron is kind of what they need. And I think they are what he needs. And honestly, I think this is LeBron's only choice is Cleveland, because the LA door is shut, especially after the nail in the coffin today with Austin Reeves signing his contract. That door is dead bolted, locked. You are not coming back in. And then with Golden State, again, for all the reasons I pointed out, I just don't see why. If you want to go to Golden State, just go ahead and retire, because that's part-time basketball out there. So. And did you see Did you see the owner and the GM get into it last night over the draft pick too? That went viral. I thought that was funny, but like that they don't they know what the hell they're doing at all. They're just figuring it out. Like, we'll take this kid, nice player, but there's no plan in place there. Okay, they probably brought back Steve Kerr because Steph wants him there. Ultimately, Steph's probably going to be there for 2 more years, and Draymond, and then they'll leave, and that's it. So, again. LeBron's best bet is Cleveland. Now, how can Cleveland get LeBron here? Because right now, as a free agent, they can only offer him $4 million. LeBron's not coming back here for $4 million. I don't think he's even going to go to Golden State. I don't even know if Golden State's going to pay LeBron the $15 million. To be honest with you, they just drafted another small forward last night, and they got Jimmy and they got the other guys. And they allegedly want to get Trey Murphy too, rumored. I don't know if they even want to pay him. That's another thing I heard from people today. Let's just, some other people out in the streets that, the YouTube streets were saying that they heard that they don't think he's going to, they don't know the Warriors are going to pay him, that they're interested, but will they pay him that money? I don't know. But how can LeBron get money and be the main centerpiece of the team, right? And have a good chance to compete and have the, I think the storybook ending that he really does want, that his career ultimately does deserve. It's Cleveland. Now, again, how can the Cavs get him? They can only pay $4 million. He ain't taking $4 million. Okay, I don't think he even wants to take 15 from Golden State. So I think LeBron wants to get between the $20 to $30 million range. Brian Windhorst today on ESPN threw out something that I've been saying on this show, a scenario I've been pointing out here for a while. Shout out to Tribe 00, weirdo Jarrett Allen. Hell, I'd take a couple of used jock straps, let alone LeBron. He said, "Gotta have a late night episode, then we can dive deeper, brother." Yeah, I'm gonna get back to those soon, Parent John. Especially when football season comes around, we'll be back to Sunday Night Lives. I think the Jay swap for Braun is the most logical trade for both teams. Braun had bought a membership at a golf course too, and yeah, I'm gonna get to that in a minute, Parent John. Parent John's getting a little ahead of me a little bit, but Brian Windhorst today though mentioned right how the Cavs could get LeBron back, and he said if they're willing to trade Jarrett Allen to the Lakers, that the Lakers, who mind you, Luka wants an A-list center. He said, go get me an A-list center. You look at the market right now, they're not getting Jalen Duren. They're not getting Walker Kessler. Okay. The rest of who are the A-list centers left on the market? They could get Daniel Gafford in a trade. Possible. I don't know if you list him as A-list, but I think Luka likes him and wants him, his former teammate. That's been rumored for a while. But you want to talk about an A-list, a guy who's been an all-star, lob threat, rim runner, can block the shots. That's Jarrett Allen. I know and I know Cleveland fans, we get kind of annoyed with Jarrett Allen. Some people get annoyed with Jarrett Allen. I know my guy Wally does. But he has shown up in game sevens, big games. He's had some games where he's hit miss, but Jarrett Allen is who he is. Ultimately, I think Mobley and Allen can't play. I think it's time to move on from that. I think they need to one of them, you have to pick between one of them and put a piece next to them in the front court that complements them. I don't think both of them can play next to each other anymore. So, but Brian Windhorst on ESPN Cleveland said if the Cavs are willing to trade, Jarrett Allen, that could be their pathway to LeBron. Here's what he had to say.
There is a thought process out there in Los Angeles, and I think if the Cavs were interested in this, the Lakers would sit up at attention right now that they would sign and trade LeBron for Jarrett Allen. And I think if the Cavs were willing to do that, they could have LeBron. Obviously LeBron would have to want to sign with the Cavs, but if your pathway to pay LeBron the money is to trade Jarrett Allen for him, the Lakers would kill for Jarrett Allen, kill for him. All right, they would do that deal in 17/10 of a second.
And so that was courtesy of ESPN Cleveland. And Brian Windhorst said, again, if the Cavs were willing to trade Jarrett Allen, that the Lakers would do that deal pretty much. Okay, because LeBron's not going back to L.A. That door was shut today with Austin Reeves being, and I've been telling you guys it was shut. It's been kind of known all year he wasn't going back there. Okay, it ain't breaking news to a lot of people behind the scenes, but he ain't going back to L.A. It's over. Okay, so, but they need a rim running center. They need an A-list center. Why not package LeBron? Because you're not bringing him back, but why not get something out of him? Why not use him to go get the A-list center you want? Go get Jarrett Allen, right? And I think, to me, that makes sense for all sides. The Cavs, time to move on from that front court. You don't want to trade Mobley because he has more upside than Jarrett Allen, but you need LeBron. Like, he's kind of the piece you need. Still playing at a high level, even at his age, averaging 24 points a night. To me, that's who you go and you get. And obviously we all know the LeBron connection, the story, the whole thing. You go get that guy. Okay. And all you have to give up is Jarrett Allen. Now, I also think too, I've been saying on this show, because I pointed out this scenario for a while now, if you've been watching, I said the Cavs can get LeBron in a sign and trade. He can get more money in Cleveland than he would in Golden State, which is the other option. Right, because Golden State can only give him $15 million on an MLE. The Cavs in this scenario, because Jarrett's making almost $30 million, I believe, because you would have to match the salaries, right? And so if I pull up Jarrett Allen's contract real quick, I think next year he's making $28 million, if I'm not mistaken. So LeBron's making, either way, in a sign and trade to Cleveland, LeBron, his base salary in 26-27, Jarrett Allen's is $28 million. So he has an annual average salary of $30 million. So, again, if LeBron does a sign and trade to Cleveland, he'll make double the money he would make in Golden State, which I think he wants to be in that preferably 25 to 35 range, but he's realistic about where he is in his age. But I think he knows he's probably going to get between 20 to 30. But that would definitely get into that if a sign and trade to Cleveland, because, again, Golden State can only give him 15 if they offer it to him. And so it makes sense for LeBron. It makes sense for the Cavs. And for the Lakers, they get their guy they need, their A-list center who can financially, they can afford as well. and you get that for Luka. And now you surround the rest of the roster with Luka. You brought back Austin Reeves. You got Jarrett Allen. Now you go get your 3-and-D wings. You fill out the rest of your roster. You're in LA. You're going to attract people there to take less money to play with Luka probably. They'll be fine. But the Cavs will be fine too. So, because you still got Evan Mobley. And so, to me, this is a win-win trade for everybody involved. I've been pointing this trade scenario out for a while. I think also what the Cavs could do in this scenario, Dean Wade has a lot of interest from teams, reportedly. Keon Ellis has a lot of interest in teams, reportedly. I've heard the Lakers like both. And I think Brian Windhorst even reported 2 weeks ago on his ESPN Cleveland YouTube channel show, was it 5 Good Minutes with Wendy, whatever it's called? Great, nice show. I like it. Shout out to him and Chris Oldak. He said that he's heard the Lakers are interested in Dean Wade. Well, why not sign and trade Dean Wade into the deal and package him into it, and then you make this big, giant, trade. Basically, you're setting Jarrett Allen, Dean Wade, or maybe Keon Ellis, one of the two, or whatever. You got to send the match to make the trade work. You get LeBron. You're probably bringing back Bronny. Let's be honest. Okay, we know Bronny's probably coming with LeBron, and I'm curious too. If I'm the Cavs, who else could they get from the Lakers out of that deal? Maybe on their roster, one of their free, like a Rui Hachimura, would he be able to sign? I don't know what his market's going to be. I know some people are high or low on him. I like Rui. I think he'd be a nice addition for the Cavs because they need wings and they need guys who can defend and be athletic. I don't think it'd be a terrible idea, but I don't know. You guys, let me know what you guys think about that. But again, you can put together a pretty good package. And Brandon Scoop B. Robinson, longtime NBA insider, he shared this scenario a couple weeks ago, and he brought up the same scenario about what that would look like, what he's heard about LeBron. Here you go.
Give us some Scoop B, some information on the offseason. I know what finals are going on, but anything that we should be looking for, players moving on, trade, any kind of things maybe happening, or
we're in Los Angeles.
Okay, so LeBron James, let's start there.
Okay, perfect.
There we go.
The Lakers can offer him the most money. However,
they don't want to.
There you go. They do not want to. You filled in the blank for me. And so if you look at an alternate team, the conversations that I've been having about the Cleveland Cavaliers is something that is realistic. In order for that to happen, there are some mathematics that have to make sense from sources around the league. First of all, James Harden is going to have to restructure that deal. And I'm told that LeBron James doesn't necessarily want to sign a max extension with the Cavaliers. In fact, he would take less money to come back home. But in order for that to also happen, the Cavaliers are hoping that he takes some type of mid-level exception, one, and two, that he completes a sign and trade with the Los Angeles Lakers in order to make that happen. So you would have to move a Jarrett Allen or others. However, in order to add more to that pot, Dean Wade or as well as Max Strus would have to potentially be moved as well. So those are some of the things that I'm hearing as far as the Cleveland Cavaliers. Also, they currently have a vacant GM position out there, and Brandon Weems, who is currently the assistant GM, is a guy who grew up with LeBron James in Akron. He is a guy that is one of the candidates in that conversation. They're talking about staying internal. However, one thing that I am hearing is that the Cavaliers are entertaining a conversation of potentially talking to David Griffin about that GM position as well.
So trying to run it back then.
A possible return. Yeah.
No, that's courtesy of Fox Sports Radio, the Odd Couple show. And that's when they had Scoop B. Robinson. But I don't believe I'm reading two things at once. Brandon Weems did get promoted to the Cavs GM position. Okay, he's sitting next to Kobe Altman tonight, and we did last night. He's their GM. Obviously, I've said for a while, Brandon Weems, he's been with the Cavs for a minute now. He was with Kentucky prior with Coach John Calipari. Played with LeBron at St. Mary in Akron. They've been friends for a very long time. They're very close. They hang out in the offseason. He's part of, they're all, Weems is part of the inner circle of LeBron's people from Akron, that his buddies, his friends, we all know, he's part of the crew. So I think that means something. I know Brian Windhorst downplayed that a couple weeks ago, but that means something because, again, ultimately, why LeBron is not going back to L.A., because A, Mark Walters doesn't want him back there, but also B, LeBron he can't dictate his own terms anymore because Jeannie Buss ain't there. Again, if Jeannie Buss was still the owner, if the Lakers had interest in bringing LeBron back, he would have signed a contract before the season. Okay, it would have been done and over with. They would have nipped it in the ass right then and there, like they have years prior, right? It would have been done by now. It's not happening though. He's not going back there. It's over. So again, he can't dictate his own terms anymore. It's the first time in his career he can't do that. But he's got a little pull here in Cleveland. So, and I think the Cavs, when Dan Gilbert put out his statement after the season saying, we're nowhere where we need to be, right? When they brought back Kenny Atkinson, this right here, yeah, we took a step ahead this spring, but we are nowhere near we need to be. And we will dig in all summer and do everything we possibly can to take the next step. Okay. Dan needs LeBron and LeBron needs them. Point blank, period. Because ultimately, the Cavs are really the only best option LeBron has. Golden State is not a good option. Yeah, you can go play. I mean, for off the court, maybe, you can go on be in Cali, go play golf, go to Napa Valley, drink some go play golf with Steph. You know what I mean? But maybe maybe probably get the playoffs and play in, but you're not winning anything. Okay. So his best bet is Cleveland. Their best bet is getting LeBron. That's the best move they can make to upgrade their team. And so, and the Cavs are operating like it. And Brian Windhorst pointed that out today, that, this wasn't, earth shattering news right here, but we know they want to get out of second apron, but there's a reason why they're trying to get out. They're not just trying to save money. Okay. They need to upgrade. They keep saying after the season, we're going to run it back. And I said, no, they're not running it back. I don't think they're bringing back all 4 members of the core next year. If they want to significantly, if they really want to make that next step, like Dan Gilbert said, because you said you're nowhere where you need to be. Well, and you brought back Kobe Altman. That means you're telling us it's not the coach. We brought him back. We have to upgrade our personnel. We got to make moves there. And you got to move off one of those pieces. Jarrett Allen you're not getting rid of James Harden, and you're kind of stuck with him. But Jarrett Allen's the only piece that makes sense you can move off of, because you're not getting rid of Mobley, you're not getting rid of Donovan, obviously. So here's what he said today about why the Cavs are looking to get out of second apron.
The reason that they want to get out of the second apron isn't because they're dying to save money. The reason they want to get out of the second apron is so that they have the ability to change the roster. It's very hard to change the roster when you are in the second apron. So that indicates to me that they know that their team isn't a complete team, that they know that they need to make changes. Like,
again, he just said it. They know their team is not a complete team, and they know they need to make changes. And you're trying to get out of second apron because you need flexibility to make moves. Well, what kind of move would you want to make? That move right there. That's the move you're trying to set up to make. Okay, because he pointed that out shortly after this. He brought this up, this move right here, shortly after he said that. Okay, then in the same day, you see Austin Reeves sign his contract, which kind of basically, is the final, nail in the coffin of LeBron going back to LA. So it all is unfolding today. You kind of have seen it all unfold today, right? You hear Brian Windhorst this morning say, oh, well, he's heard and put out there. And then you see the Austin Reeves thing. And now here we are. And we're a week out from July 1st and free agency. And now things are rolling. Right? You're starting to see it all start to piece. You're kind of seeing it all start to piece together, if I could spit it out. But he also mentioned this move as well. He said this last week as well. I brought this up last week. One of the names you probably could see get moved out of Cleveland is Dennis Schroeder, right? So that's one way they can get out of that second apron. Here was that right here.
Where would you put them as far as being able to win the Eastern Conference going into next year?
I think they're a top 4 team in the East, and they're going to need to play their best basketball when it matters. They, I think, could use some toughness, some more toughness. How do you do that? Without touching your core, I don't think you do. I think that's something that Kobe Altman has got to be considering. Is there a player that they can bring in that could inject that a little bit? I think a player to watch is Dennis Schroeder. I think the Cavs, are willing to move him, and can they move him for another role player that could potentially fill that void?
Now, yesterday on this show, that was courtesy of ESPN Cleveland. Yesterday on this show, I said I was 55-45. I thought he was going to Golden State, LeBron. But because I didn't hear anything yet from the Cavs side of things that they would actually, up until today, I didn't feel like I saw anything from the Cavs, and they were trying to maneuver to make something happen. And I said, well, but I also didn't think Gold State's the best option. I'm like, I don't know if that's what LeBron really wants to do deep down. So I said, I'll say 55-45 Golden State. That's what I said yesterday. Today, though, I'll say 60-40 Cavs, because now that I've actually heard it from the Cavs side that they're willing to, they're actively trying to make the flex, be open to getting out of second apron, creating that flexibility. And then hearing the Lakers saying that they're interested in Jarrett Allen, which I don't think that just came out of thin air, if I'm being honest with you guys. To me, I think it's all starting to kind of flow into motion, which I've been telling you guys all along. It's going to be the sign and trade. The way LeBron gets here is a sign and trade. Jarrett Allen, you trade him and they sign LeBron and you get him back here. Okay. And I think that's how it'll go. So, LeBron, now he mentioned the salary. I'm trying to think how much money the Cavs actually could pay him. I'll have to read some more on that in a minute. Once I get my guys up here, I'll do some reading while they're talking. I want to find what is the actual number the Cavs could actually give him. So I think maybe it could be about $20 million they could offer him. I'm reading. I'll have to read more on that. So it may not be, I would correct myself, it may not be 25 to 30, but from what I'm reading, though, he would still get slightly more money in a sign and trade to Cleveland than he would even still going to Golden State. And I think it's a better situation for him. So we'll see what happens, though. And that deal would have to be processed on July 6th. So they can agree to terms and announce it before then on July 1st. And then it'll process on July 6th. So if that happens. Yo, thoughts on? Good to see you. Thoughts on Evan Mobley ever becoming an all-star ever again, Joseph? Well, if he plays alongside LeBron James and Donovan, I think it's a good chance he could be an all-star. I think LeBron would enhance his offensive game. I think LeBron would be the best thing ever happened to Evan Mobley. Off the court, helping him, pushing him. And I think playing, again, with a guy like that, one of the best passers of all time, I think it would help Evan tremendously. Help everybody, especially Evan. I think that would, because Evan's a monster defensively already. We know that. It's the consistency on the offense. And I think with a guy like LeBron, a different mind out there and talent kind of coordinating what's going to happen, dictating what's going to happen. LeBron's always been a master manipulator with the ball in his hands and controlling the game. I think a guy like that for Evan to play alongside with his skill set, I think would be tremendous for him. And he definitely could make an all-star game. Thoughts on Evan Mobley playing with Luka and LeBron? Zero chance. Zero chance. Now, yeah, zero chance. Maybe Allen and LeBron reunite with the Lakers jersey someday. Thoughts? Nah, I doubt it. I think I don't see it. I mean, it's possible. I mean, obviously that's way far down the road. That would be years and years away, but probably unlikely. I would trade LBJ for just Allen in a first round, 2 seconds. David Everett says, thanks for tuning in, David. So you would trade LBJ for just Allen and first round pick. Oh, okay. So if you're saying from the Lakers side, you want a Jarrett Allen, a first round, and 4 second round picks. That's interesting. I don't know. I could see the Lakers wanting to maybe get a sign and trade with getting Dean Wade signed into that deal somehow, if that's possible, or Keon Ellis even, or maybe another piece or two. I mean, you heard Scoop Robinson bring up Max Strus possibly, or he brought up Dean Wade as well in a possible deal. So I think they would probably get Allen and maybe another player or two, and probably maybe a pick, or maybe they do some pick swaps. I don't know. That's going to be curious to see, because I think now that it's out there and I think we're getting closer to next week, you're going to see more of this type of trade. You're going to see a lot of these mocks out there, what this deal could look like. And you may see what you may start to hear leak out, like the Lakers are looking for this, the Cavs are looking for this. You know what I mean? Well, the Cavs are obviously looking for LeBron, but maybe in terms of like picks and stuff like that. So we will see. Mobley is the last part of the core. I think him and Donovan will be the last part of the core. Donovan may outlast all of them, because Donovan's going to sign that contract next summer. That's going to be monstrous, that he'll probably be here for a while. So, he may outlast all of them, but I don't know. I would still say Donovan will be the last part of no, Mobley should be because he's younger, but I don't know. I mean, maybe you could say Mobley. I don't know. Still further away though, but, again, wrapping up on this today before I get my guys up here to let them, and I went a little longer than I needed to, but it was a lot to break down today. Going back to the Golden State side of things, because again, I think with LeBron right now, LA is off the table. It's been off the table. Now it's down to, Golden State and Cleveland. And so from Golden State's side of things, again, Ramona Shelburne recently reported of ESPN that Golden State can offer the full 15.1 MLE non-taxpayer mid-level. LeBron is also tied with Steph Curry and Draymond Green, who can openly reunite with can openly recruit the Cane. Off note, the Warriors drafted Michigan forward Yaxel Lendenborg on Tuesday night. It's an indication that Golden State is going for it this coming season. Instead of entering a rebuild, Lendenborg is very much a win-now player. Now, he is an older guy. They drafted the Warriors, Lendenborg from Michigan. He's 23. But to me, that's not enough pieces they need. Like, I don't know if LeBron – again, Butler's not coming back till, I think, February, right at the earliest, from the injury. You have Draymond. Steph only played 40 games last year. LeBron's 40-something years old. You're going to put that kind of load on him for all the season. And Draymond is older. Porzingis – I mean, that team's not doing much. They're not going for it. I'm sorry. They're just not. They're not going for anything. The only thing they're going for is a bowl of oatmeal and sitting down and watching TV at 8 o'clock at night because that team is too old, right? They're not – that team ain't going for it. You know what I mean? They're not going for anything, all right? They're just not. They're just too old. They're going for a game of golf. Maybe going for a podcast episode on Draymond's, you know what I mean, or LeBron's if he went, but that team ain't contending for nothing. Not in that Western Conference. Hell no. But another thing, too, to finish up this LeBron Cavs thing, I think shout out to Zach Jackson the other day, who's a Browns reporter, was on 92.3 The Fan. I don't know how this got brought up, but it got brought up. And he said an interesting thing that went viral the other day that I think is actually kind of was a big, I don't want to say big, but it was, I'll tell you why in a minute why I think this is very fascinating and why I think it could be a big piece when it's all said and done. Here's what Zach Jackson said.
I think it's probably unlikely that he comes here, but, he likes to flirt. He likes the thought. And the rumors at my country club are that LeBron's joining Firestone. And LeBron can get on any golf course in the world anytime he wants.
Wait a minute.
Come on.
I didn't know you belonged to a country club. Whoa. Oh, so wait, you got people telling you he's coming back?
Yeah, well, the door is open, and I think it is. I'm fascinated. Like, my thought on the Cavs is a very outside observer. There's just no way.
He went on to say there's no way you run it back. But that's fascinating that LeBron, obviously, he's growing in his love for the game of golf, that allegedly is getting a membership at Firestone Country Club. Obviously, Firestone Country Club, you guys don't know, I'm from Akron, born and raised. I've been to Firestone many times. Literally 10 minutes from me. It's one of the nicest courses around. Probably, it's the most premier course probably in Northeast Ohio in terms of like how big it is. If you don't know it, they used to have the PGA, like the regular tour. They used to have the regular PGA tour there. Now they have the senior tour there now, and that's the last year for that. But it's still, that's the kind of venue it is, right? It's a big country club, PGA tour. The whole thing. Tiger Woods. I saw Tiger play there when I was a kid, and he actually won it. But that's the kind of venue it is. Like, this isn't a place. What I'm saying, when LeBron went to LA in 2018, since then he's come back to Cleveland every summer. Okay. Even during COVID, when the league was on shutdown, he wasn't in LA on that shutdown during that summer. He was actually back at home in Bath Township at his house. A lot of people don't know. I don't know if people know that, but LeBron has been back here every summer, and usually he comes back in the middle of July to early August, right in there, and he comes usually for about 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, he comes back for his annual visit back home every summer. So people that said it, hey, people joke. I heard people, I don't know if LeBron's ever even back to Cleveland. He ain't going back there. He comes back every summer, and he still has a beautiful mansion. He's actually, I'm sure, upgraded. That's what's kept up with. He's got a lot of motion still here in Ohio. Okay, even now recently, just opened a restaurant here in Akron not too long ago. So he's got a lot of motion still here. And he comes back here every off season and hangs out with his family. He goes to a place right by the road from me. When he comes here, a couple places by me. So LeBron, I've seen LeBron around here. I saw him last time I saw LeBron was at a basketball facility right by me back 4 years ago training. Okay, he comes here every off season. my point being, if LeBron was going to Golden State or if he was going to LA, back to LA, which I don't think he is, at least the LA side of things, I'm not completely ruling out Golden State yet. I don't think you go and buy a membership to a golf club like Firestone if you're just coming back for your 2-week annual visit. You would just pay per session, right? He would just pay per session to go play golf. You wouldn't go buy it. You wouldn't go into the golf and become a member. You're only becoming a member because you're about to be back here for a substantial period. Okay, you follow me? So to me, that may have been something significant. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. It may have been. But if you're from Ohio, like I am from Akron, you don't just buy a membership to Firestone just to come back for your annual 2-week visit in the middle of the summer. All right. You just pay per visit. You would pay per set or per 18 holes, whatever the fuck it is, or whatever the hell it is. All right. So like, you don't just do that for no reason. That's all I'm saying. Also, do I have anything else on that? Oh, yes, I do. Last one. LeBron has always kept the door open to coming back home, people. After he signed with the Lakers, right? He signed with the Lakers July 1st, 2018. Not even a month later, he opened the I Promise School in Akron, Ohio. You guys know the I Promise School. LeBron opened up with his foundation, right, in Akron. He opened that up a month later. Remember, it was the whole grand opening. It was on national TV. They interviewed him that day. A bunch of teams, CNN interviewed him. ESPN did, I believe. And he also did an interview sit down with the local Channel 3 News in Cleveland. And they asked him this question at the end of the interview. And mind you, this is 1 month after he signed with the Lakers. You know what this guy said when asked this question? And what is the question you ask? Here it is right here.
Family here with these kids and my foundation. So it's all working in the right way.
People have followed you on your journey, your fans, from the kid from Akron to getting drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Do you think that there's a possibility for it to go full circle and you come back to Cleveland?
Well, I mean, I don't close no chapters and I don't circle no doors. Hopefully I believe and I will like it. I know my family would be great if someday, my jersey goes up in the rafters and, in the Cleveland Cavaliers uniform. So, that would definitely bring us back. But I'm always be in my hometown of Akron. That's for sure. Being around the community in Northeast Ohio as well is just who I am. So we look forward to it.
This will always be home for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. And he answered it right there. Now, at that time, he couldn't answer directly, obviously, because he just signed the Lakers. It wouldn't be a good thing to do. But what he did say was, she asked him point blank. And then, again, mind you, this is not even a month after he signed with the Lakers in 2018. He just opened it was a day he opened the school. He sat down the local Channel 3 News here in Cleveland, and she asked him straight up, would you ever come back here full circle and finish your career? And he said, I will never close no doors or no chapters. He left the door open. And he left it open for a reason. Okay, and that's obviously a question to ask on that day. A month later, he answered it like that for a reason. LeBron's very smart, very calculated when it comes to that stuff. Okay, he knows everybody's listening to everything he says. And he said after, I'll be back in my hometown and be part of Northeast Ohio. And in the 8 years he's been gone in LA, he's still has done that. He's been back here every summer as much as he can, and he's got a lot of motion still here. So he kind of told you back then about what could be happening now. Just saying. And that's my thoughts. Man, that might have been the longest one I've ever done in terms of an opening statement. I don't know. That's an opening statement. That's just the whole damn episode in some ways. But I'm not going to say much. I'm going to let my guys who've been I'm going to give them about 10 minutes or so because I actually got to get rolling. I'm going to give them the floor for the last 10 minutes. My guy, my fellow Akronite East Sider, Wally's in the building. Shout out to Wally. And also, Illyria's finest, MMA loving, Dean Wade fan club Presidente, which I don't know how longer that's going to be if it gets moved. My guy Humble's in the building.
Hey. Hello.
While you guys got the floor, you guys' reaction to all this today. My apologies for going so long, fellas. I had a lot of stuff I had to break down. So
No, you good. You good.
But I got about 10 minutes here. You guys got the floor. Your reaction to all this. Wally, I'll start with you, and Humble, you go right after him.
I mean, okay. I'm really intrigued on how could I say this? Okay. If this happens, right, and this 7-footer, whatever, get drafted here, I will consider it of the last road for LeBron for here for Cleveland. The end of the story, boom, boom. Okay. But again, I can't take away what he like did for this country and stuff. But I will could consider him coming back.
Oh, so
Okay.
now you're open to it.
But look though. I'm just saying that because like will this will be because I'm not saying like okay this is gonna be good or bad. Okay, this is going to be in the middle. All right, but I ain't saying like okay, well this gonna be making the Cavs a finals and stuff and blah, blah. I'm not saying all of that. I'm just saying is like how they gonna do it with all of like the bench and the starting five and stuff. That's all I'm saying. And that guy and overseas and stuff, Ning Yang also. So like, how's that going to be? Because I think I did hear he's going to be coming around like 2028 to 2029 after his season with the LIS something like that or LSU something like that.
Um, Repeat that again. Who are you talking about? You talking about
Niang.
LeBron? Oh,
No,
Niang. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I had no idea about that. I couldn't tell you.
But yeah, I did hear about that. So like um I'm really like excited for the Yang for LeBron, but it's a double edged sword for this point. So but go ahead, humble.
Um, well, if you want my opinion, I think that we're moving off Brown's timing. You know, the Brown's the type of guy that he's really in the point of his career where he doesn't really have to keep playing, but he chooses to keep playing. And I think that's why the Lakers are opting to move on, right? LeBron James, I always thought as a career move, it was a dumb idea to go to the West. But I mean, I'm talking for his career. I'm not talking for Bronny and all that, his legacy. I'm talking about his career. Um, I, I understand wanting to leave Cleveland at the time that he did. Um, but you got a guy in LeBron that it's really, two places that really made sense. We broke down a couple of lives ago, Golden State or um, Cleveland. Even if you're thinking Golden State, me and Joe are the mindset like, why would you join a rival team? Um, but LeBron's going to do what LeBron does. He's going to stir up the pot. I think that if you're looking at it from a small forward perspective and what the Cavs need, we've always lacked a small forward. We could use him, a guy who's been to the playoffs numerous of times. I'm thinking about who was the best small forward in the East last year, and I don't know. I'd maybe argue it was OG Anunoby, but I don't know. Long story short, I think bringing on LeBron, like Joe would agree, brings a lot of leadership. I think that you got to consider age. How does LeBron and Harden play together, knowing that the age that they are, right? So a lot of factors play in. I've talked to Joe about this. I don't know how LeBron would do coming back home with Jarrett Allen not being there, because obviously we were thinking of a trade package for LeBron. And obviously the Lakers need a center, but I keep thinking of the mindset how good can Evan Mobley be at the 5, right? But time will tell.
He
Like
may
Joe,
stay at the 4. I mean, I saw something today,
right?
and I just want to add to that, Hubble, that they could draft that 7-footer tonight, and then they also, like a guy like Yusuf Nurkic could be on the market, who they can add at center as well. And you can keep that bigger front line. But I just want
Right.
to add to that.
No, for sure, 100%. And then, after you said that, I just gotta ask, off topic, how did you guys feel about us trading that pick? I know Wally wasn't real too happy about us trading that guy.
They didn't really have a choice
Mm,
financially. I think if there
mm,
was certain players that would have fell that you like, okay, we can't pass on this guy. How do you fall to us? They would have took him, but there wasn't anybody there that I think they really were like loved. I think the guys that they like are still going to be there tonight, and that's why you trade down. And financially, it makes more sense to trade out of this first because you get them on a second round thing,
all right.
and you're a team trying to create that flexibility right now for a reason. So
Right.
you can't handicap yourself over some draft pick that may help contribute this year, but you're not going to screw your future or your off season over on trying to get a guy in the first round. You might as well just take a swing. It tells me too that
A
whoever
guy who won't get minutes.
well, I think they'll get minutes, but you're not. They probably, if I had to bet, I think Vassar and the kid from Northwestern, they probably have a damn near equal grade on them. So they'll probably just go off. I would take the 7-footer first. I think they probably would as well because they're going to try to get more depth up there. But even if you take the kid from Northwestern, he's a shooter, kind of a Max Strus kind of player, honestly. Led the Big Ten in scoring last year, which was really impressive. It was a great league last year. So, I mean, I think they probably viewed it like that. And you get him on a second round contract. That's what you want because it gives you more flexibility
Right.
with your cap.
But with that being said, though, I got another because I just went to from like no, yeah, I went to the basement to get something, but I was thought on my mind, and I got like a big, huge opinion coming up though. After this and stuff, but with
You got an
that
opinion?
rookie, yeah, a big opinion after we get done and stuff.
I got you.
With that, the rookie and stuff for the first round stuff, like why we switch, I get it. Save more money and getting like a second rounder. I think I very very believe the Cavs going to be putting the second rounders for like the draft going forward. Um, we already see what they going to do. I think they just going to be doing the second rounders for now on. Not the first round. I think it's going to be the second rounds. Every draft, every draft year basically.
Which makes sense for them because if you're in a win now mode for a lot of these teams, you're probably trying to get. I mean, look at all the trades you saw last night in that draft. I don't think I've ever seen a draft with more trades.
And
I mean, the one guy at the end was it Koa Pete. He got traded twice in like a minute.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
right.
I mean, teams are trying to because they don't want to. Now, you saw some pissed off owners last night. You saw the Warriors owner; he didn't look happy getting into it with it. And then you saw the Nuggets owner. They traded away a guy my guy I like, Terrace Reed. They traded him away to Denver or to San Antonio, San Antonio completely won the draft to me last night. You got Terrace Reed coming in behind.
I was
Wemby.
telling Wally about that.
Boy, they got they were already good. You just added that guy to that behind
Defense,
him.
and that's an enforcer. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He is. That's why I wanted
It's an
him.
enforcer,
And
right?
that's why I wanted him. And he didn't fall to us. But if he would have been there, I think the Cavs would have took him. But I think he was more pissed that they traded him to the Spurs. But still, you see now
Right.
kind of this apron thing in the league, man. It's teams are still kind of figuring it out. How do we
Yeah.
operate? How do we you want to get the second round picks now? Like I think it makes the draft better. I think that's why they split the days as well. Mainly because the first year they did Bronny was coming out, so they had to make it look good. They wanted to make spectacle out of that. But also, the second round of the draft now is a little more meaningful than it was 5 years ago, because these contending teams, they can find role players now that can contribute this year. They are going to contribute because of the apron rules. You're going to look at the Knicks, for instance. They got to get rid of guys like that guy they drafted last night, De La Salle,
Yep.
whatever. It sounds like a damn suit line you buy.
He got traded. He said, "I'm going to get traded."
Yeah, Sergio De La. What's his name? Desar, whatever his name was. It sounded like a fancy clothing brand. Like, what kind of suit you got on? I got a De La Sara, and I heard somebody say it last night. They got on a De La Sara, but whatever his name. But shout out my boy Carcito. He used to say that last night. For life, go subscribe to him. But no, I mean, what was I going to say? I got off track. Oh, but he could be he could be Bridges' replacement in 3 years.
Sure.
Because I don't know if he's that good, but again, eventually teams are going to have to start shedding. Like, you look at the Thunder, they're slowly losing players. Lou Dort's probably going to be gone. You know what I mean? They're going to have to, I think the Case and Wallace guy could be gone. Some of the other key players they've had, the Wiggins could be gone. Like, they're going to start have to shed people. So they have to you got to reload through the draft. And a lot of times these teams now, they got to get in the second round to get the more team friendly contracts.
Right. And I got another question. So, will this be because I did hear on about the 2029 draft. It's going to be bigger than this draft, basically. So, like, what do y'all rate this draft though? After this last second round draft tonight,
Like an 8.9.
And I give it
It's definitely above a 7.
I give it an 8.1.
Yeah, it's an 8. It's definitely
It's
an
got
8.
some depth to it, and I think it has some key guys who could be all stars at the top, at least all stars. So I give it an 8.1.
Okay.
And I think now the importance of these drafts with the apron, I think it's I think because there's some dudes at the back end that were actually, I think it'd be like that kid the Celtics got, the Coates kid. I was hoping he would follow us. That he could be an impact player. He's really good. He's like a lottery talent. So I held a 7-footer out of the kid from Northwestern and the 7-footer out of UNC tonight. Both guys I think could be rotational players next year. They're both really good. So I give it a solid 8.1.
Okay.
But, well, fellas, it's going to be a hell of a week ahead of us. That's for sure. Turns out what's going to happen. So make sure.
But yeah, I got one more thing too.
You got real quick.
So after this set is done with this, with LeBron James and stuff playing in the NBA and stuff, will this be meaning the Cavs leadership to be changed and not be having this sloth, like this whole thing, not like listen to like players basically wanting to like get done and not like what they doing right now? Like, will this change?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's years away. I mean, I think the best thing is to see what happens right now in the moment, and time will tell.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what
then.
Muggsy Bones always was, just in the moment too. That's always something he always prided on, being in the moment.
Yep. But Wally, shout out to you, brother. I'll see you on the next one. I know you'll be plugged in and looking at all. Keep sending me all the updates and stuff. So.
Right.
Salute, brother. Shout out to Wally. Where's my button? Shout out to Wally.
Love you, Walt Challenamo.
Yeah. Humble, I left you up here. You want to plug your channel, bro? Where can they find you at?
You can find me at Humble Man MMA on YouTube, guys. Come on over and spread some love.
Hell yeah. Now we got you on camera, Humble. I'll let you salute up out of here. Make sure you guys please like, subscribe, and share all that good stuff. And we will see the next one. We are out of here. Gone.